So the heart is one of the most important organs in the body. One of those organs which needs to last you a lifetime, and yet we tend not to pay much attention to it, or we take it for granted. But just like anything valuable, if you fail to take good care of your heart, it will fail you. On Healthy Thursday, we ask what are some of the things we're doing that's hurting our hearts, and what are some of the things we should be doing to ensure our hearts won't give up on us prematurely. Dr. Bennett Owusu is joining us. He is with the cardiology unit at the Ho Teaching Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Owusu.
Morning.
Hi, Doc. Good morning. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. I'm very good, thank you.
I can hear you. Awesome. So how is your heart?
My heart is excellent.
It is?
Thank you very much.
Okay, so how do I know if my heart is excellent too?
Just a second.
Okay.
Just a second.
No, but I could check it for you anyway. I could check your heart out for you.
No, thank you. Go and check the hearts of oak people. I have to stop doing. I'm sorry, I'll stop after tomorrow. But yeah.
You asked a question, yeah?
Yeah.
I wanted to know how. Yeah. Can you repeat that, please?
I was asking you that because I asked you how is your heart, and you said your heart is excellent. And I'm asking you, how do I know if my heart is excellent too?
Right. So basically, first of all, most of the cardiovascular conditions or heart conditions can be silent, and so it's always very important that you go for a check. I wouldn't say because you haven't made any complaints with regards to heart conditions, you are fit. So if you go check your blood pressure, if you are getting palpitations, that's your heart beating very fast. If you're getting feet swelling, facial puffiness and all those things, and easy fatigability and all that, getting easily
tired.
Tired, easily tired and all that actually gives you, an idea that you should just go and have a look of what's happening to you. So I would just encourage, first of all, that you just go for a check, and then we'll be able to tell you if your heart is healthy.
Okay, so what are some of the things that we do every day that are not good for our hearts at all? Apart from supporting Hearts of Oak,
so
obviously.
Basically,
Doc, ignore her. Ignore her.
Basically, before I actually answer that, I would just want to mention some facts about the heart and its consequences, heart diseases and its repercussions that we're actually facing now, which is quite relevant that at least if we all get to know what is happening, it will be very good and quite paramount that we take very good care of our hearts. Now, most of the cardiovascular diseases, there's an estimation of about 17.9 million, almost 18 million premature cardiovascular deaths or heart deaths each year. So we are talking about human deaths, not money. 17.9 million of cardiovascular, and most of these are quite preventable. So I'm just going to emphasize on that it is of paramount importance that we take very keen interest in getting to know our heart state and how to prevent some of these premature deaths. Because it pains me, most of the time, most of the cardiac deaths would have been from the old people who have already hit 70 and all that. But we are getting patients here, just even yesterday, patients who died at the age of 34 from a heart condition. There was not much you could do when it has gotten to the end stage. So most of the things, coming to your question now, most of the things that we can be looking at is lifestyle modification and diet. It is very, very, very important. What I mean by lifestyle modification is that let's assume that we have risk factors, cardiovascular or heart risk factors, okay? Now, we have modifiable risk factors
and non-modifiable risk factors. The modifiable ones are the ones that you and I can actually work on, but the non-modifiable ones are, example would be age. You can't deal with your age. If you are aging, you are aging. One is also race. If you are an African, you're an African. If you're white, you're white. So it is to your disadvantage on your race, there's something you cannot do anything about. And also, with regards to sex, our gender also plays a role. Now, apart from these ones, the modifiable risk factors actually includes our weight. So those who are overly obese or those who are overweight are at risk. Others would be those who live sedentary. So most of the bankers, it actually came out that statistics were showing that those who work, the likes of you are presenters. I don't know whether you actually spend time to go on jogging and do other cardiovascular exercises. I'm not sure. But if you don't, it's a wake-up call for all of us. Because if you sit at one place and you're in sedentary life, let's assume that I'm sure one of you, have been frightened before by something. You can see a snake going around and then you just almost bump into a snake and you see yourself running here and there. Within just 5 seconds, you'll be panting like a pregnant fish. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So that means that you've lost your stamina, So it is very essential that we actually try as much as possible to do a bit of exercise. American Heart Association have recommended that each person would have to do about 150 minutes of exercise each day in a week. That means that 7 days in a week, you choose 5 days and train about 30 minutes or 20 minutes. That's not too bad. So if you keep doing this, it's actually going to reduce cardiovascular risk drastically, because sedentary life is one of it. Other things would be alcohol consumption. I'm not saying people should not drink, but you have to minimize it as much as possible, because most of these alcohol actually destroy our blood cells, our blood vessels. And these blood vessels are the ones that are connected to the heart. They are transport system for the heart to distribute oxygen and other nutrients. Smoking has become an issue. If you do not smoke, please do not start. That's what I'll tell our viewers. And if you do smoke, you can still stop by contacting the health bodies. Any of the health facilities, there are doctors that will actually guide you through cessation of smoke. Sometimes I wonder why people do smoke in this sort of weather, because it's very warm. So, if you have to sort of snip this all inside of you, I just really don't get it. But anyway, it's a lifestyle which, if we can put an end to it, it will help a lot.
I'm told that
there are many factors actually.
I'm told apparently that people who don't treat their sore throats very well are risking their hearts. Can you explain that to us?
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So what happens is that there is this strep infection, a throat infection that we call gas, or maybe streptococcal pharyngitis or streptococcal group A streptococcal infections that we normally call that as sore throat. Okay, I'm sure most of us have actually experienced that. There are many forms though, but sore throats, I'll keep it that simple, or streptococcal infection actually starts from our throat, okay, our pharynx, and then it's a bacterial infection which actually has a lot of detrimental effects if we do not take care of it. Now, this is what happens. So group A streptococcal infection will actually, what it does is that it affects our throat. It's a bacterial infection that affects us. Most of the time, our immune system, we have a very strong immune system that responds to it. That is to kill, it finds that as a foreign body that has come into the system. So that actually kills it. But sometimes we need to support, because the bacterial infection, we need to support with antibiotics and other medications to help with the pains and all that. We give pain medications and all that. Now, unfortunately, not all of us are able to go through that successfully. Not all of us are able to get that sorted by our immune system. This immune system, our body defense mechanism, some of it actually does not attack the bacteria alone, but there are some antigens or proteins in part of our body, and especially in our heart, that mimics the bacteria, that actually mimics the bacteria. Okay, so the immune system would actually consider it as though it's a bacteria. So then it goes after it and attack our heart. Now, the major signs and symptoms we normally get is that all the symptoms of a cold infection, you have this sore throat, if you open your mouth wide, you see redness in your throat and all that. And then there are joint pains. You tend to get joint pains, you become very weak, and that's the genesis of it. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if it's left untreated, it goes ahead to affect our heart, because the heart contains some antigens that mimics antigens of that foreign body that your body, that has invaded your body. That's the group A streptococcal. And then it attacks it as well. Because what the heart, our body defense mechanism is thinking is that, oh, this is part of the foreign body, or this part of the invasive agent that has come into the body. So go ahead and attack your heart. So it causes something we call an inflammatory response, which will cause all the layers of your heart to get inflamed. So we call a condition pancreatitis. So that is inflammation of your endocardium, your myocardium, and your pericardium. All the three layers are inflamed. Now, It doesn't end there. So you see how the heart is a pumping machine, it's a contractile machine. It pumps, okay? And then so there's a systole, and then it relaxes. Now, when the heart is inflamed, the heart muscle is inflamed, you don't actually get an adequate pumping function of the heart. The heart actually becomes a little bit weak. And so it's not able to pump blood through this, our whole body.
The way that it should.
After that, the cancer is here. What happens is that it lost part of the heart, which we call we have 4 chambers of the heart. Now, all these chambers, we have something we call valve that prevents a backflow of blood, because obviously blood has to go from one chamber to the other. For it not to backflow, yes, that's the heart pumping there, you can see. For the blood not to backflow, which will cause other adverse effects of the heart, there are valves, yes, so you can actually see closure of these valves over there. Now, the body's immune system actually attacks these valves. And when they attack the valves in the long term, what happens is that it causes 2 pathologies or 2 conditions of the valve. Valvular insufficiency and valvular stenosis.
So all of this, Dr. Owusu, all of this simply because you didn't treat your sore throat very well.
Simple as that.
All right.
And you see, the sad thing is that it doesn't usually, the population that normally are affected are those, the minors. So from age of 5 to 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So some of these things are very, very important that parents are supposed to be minding kids. You have to check from every day. Come with sore throat, please let them go to the health facility.
Okay,
thank you.
We'll definitely do that. Thank you so much, Doc, for that. Gosh, I feel so educated right now. Almost feel like a heart specialist, but obviously I'm not. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have some more very exciting.
But yeah, thank you very much to Dr. Bennett Owusu of the cardiology unit of the Ho Teaching Hospital.
Bye.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be with you.